So are there any that particularly bother you? Any of the cutbacks that would worry you personally?
Well, I have to say I had a child in a community creche up until last September in Dublin 8, and I had a great relationship with the creche as a parent, and I enjoyed the relationship, and I was part of the protest, I guess, movement when the funding structure changed and that creche was going to go out of business. Now, I would argue that people like me shouldn't have been having the level of subsidy that I was having in that particular creche, but that was the way the creche organised it, and I would have been more than happy to add, I guess, to have a different level, tiers of payments, and I guess that was one of the issues, I guess, with the funding, but the suggestion and the solution that was brought in was completely ridiculous, and it was going to force our community creche and many others out of business, and it was completely unviable. Now I know since I'm no longer, my child is now going to school, that halfway house kind of a solution was brought in, and it's been rolled out, and we'll see. They haven't gone, none of them have gone bust yet, but I feel the disconnect between the reasons why that decisions were made, which are reasonable enough. I think it's perfectly reasonable to say you want to target the money at the people that need it most. Middle class people shouldn't be getting the same subsidy. I have no problem with that. But the way it was rolled out showed an enormous gulf of understanding about the reality on the ground.
Unfortunately.
It was frightening. And if they had only involved either the social partners or the CDP or the actual people who, I'm just using the community creche because I have personal, private, I guess, family knowledge of that. If they had only consulted the people who were going, it's basic community development stuff actually, involved the people who are going to be affected by the decision, and they could have gotten what they wanted, which was money targeted at the people in most need. They could have gotten that if they'd asked the people who knew most. But
okay, very interesting. The organisation you're CEO of,
yes.
The Wheel, has grown considerably.
Yeah.
Why? Why has it? How have you managed to grow?
I think because we're good at what we do. We do these workshops. We give practical training supports and advice. Doesn't matter whether you're organisation of disability fair, it's community development, regular charity service delivery, volunteer staff, whatever. We provide practical supports to help you run your business, if I could use that word in inverted commas. Money in, money out. How to make most effective use of it. So we do that. Now, we're not unique in doing that. There's lots of people in one sense who do that, but we're one of them, and we do it very well, and we do half, if not more, of our events outside Dublin and around the country, and I think that's really important. The other reason why I think we're successful is that we're a broad church. We do stuff that focus on, I guess, the cross-cutting issues, the sector, that nobody's been looking at in a sort of the representative advocacy field before. Disability umbrella organisations look at disability issues. Community development organisations might look at issues of poverty and inequality. The actual development of the sector and the health and development of the whole sector, regardless of its ideological grounding, that really hasn't been looked at before. So I think we've really been successful at something like the Charities Act. We have, and I know we have, over the last number of years, exerted a huge amount of influence to shape that thing into something that's vaguely good. Doesn't answer all the issues or the problems. There are still a few issues with it, but it does what we need it to do, which is great.
What's your membership now? How many people have?
We'd have 830 members, large and small, across the sector. So they'd be very small, unstaffed organisations, right up to organisations at the number of staff.
So paying from €40 upwards.
€30
to
€275, depending on the income.
Very good. And